What's up, FHN? I'm Max.
And I'm Laney, and welcome back to this week's episode of The Nightly Show. Happy almost Valentine's Day, FHN. The weather has been a lot nicer lately, so be sure to go outside and enjoy the sunshine.
I can't believe it's already Valentine's Day. Make sure that you prepare something special for your partner.
You could even make a fun beaded flower to give to them. Here's a DIY by Madelyn Clark on how to make them. Mardi Gras is a holiday celebrating the last day of eating rich and fatty foods before the fasting season of Lent, so make sure to go out and celebrate with a king cake and dancing. Happy Mardi Gras! If you want your dancing to get a bit more competitive, you should play Just Dance with your friends and family. Here's a video by Reagan showing off their newest release.
Just Dance 2024 was released October 24th of 2023, making it the 15th game in the series, featuring chart-topping songs from the past year, such as Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo and Kill Bill by SZA. It's no wonder why people want to get their hands on any Just Dance game. Just Dance is arguably one of the most successful video game series ever created, having reached 135+ million players over time. But what's the history behind this series? What was the process that took Just Dance to the top? We'll discuss the origin, making, and influence of Just Dance as a whole, starting back in 2006. Not with its first game, but with the minigame that inspired its creation. This minigame came from none other than Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party, a spin-off game to the Rayman series that included a collection of minigames involving Rabbids. Said minigames made use of the Wii's motion controls. One minigame in particular caught the attention of the public, and that was the Dancing with Dweebs minigame. Using the Wiimote, you follow the moves on the screen, and the Wiimote would track it and give you points. This game became so popular that Ubisoft decided to turn it into a full game, leading it to the first in a long line of Just Dance games. The process of making the first game was unique. There had never been a game like it before. For example, when choreographing the levels, oftentimes the end product looked nothing like the original dance. A problem that Just Dance games still have to this day is trying to choreograph dances that the everyday person can follow along to. This can take a lot of revision of the dances from level designers. They also had to make changes to make it easier to track the motion on the Wiimote. However, this aspect of using real choreography and filming real people doing the dances is important to the appeal of the game. Seeing a real person that you are following along with on the screen actually tricks your brain into thinking that you look like the person on screen. This psychological illusion makes the game more fun. You think you look as good as the person on the screen when in reality you are doing more simple movements. And this definitely paid off. The influence of Just Dance has seen that payoff. People flocked to the game when it first came out, and even the prototype Rabbids minigame saw major success all on its own. People were dancing in front of a screen and in front of other people without fear. Having choreography on the screen that you can follow along to, plus repeating movements based on the rhythm of the song, made Just Dance easy for anyone to pick up and be good at. This also made the game especially fun to play with friends, being able to dance with other people without fear of judgment. And so, through word of mouth and love for the game, Just Dance became the game it is today. From a random Rabbids minigame to Just Dance 2024, the game has come a long way and continues to be just as fun as when players first fell in love.
If you and your friends are wanting to see a movie soon, why not check out Madam Web? It releases tomorrow on February 14th alongside Bob Marley, One Love.
I'm super excited to go watch the Bob Marley movie. I've been waiting over a year to go see it.
Now let's go take a look into our girls' robotics team in this video by Kate Vernon and see what they've been up to lately.
The girls' robotics team is not a very well-known club here at FHN. However, the team itself is so much more meaningful and important than it is ever given credit for.
So our all-girls team started last year, so it's pretty new. Everyone's still kind of new. I mean, I know how to program pretty well now, and my friend Mary, she knows how to build much better, but whenever we first started, everyone was pretty much on the same playing field. And I think that that was really nice because there weren't like some big experience gaps, so people didn't feel like left behind or like they're like all confused, like what are you doing? So it's really nice because we are all like at the same field. And now, even though it's a year later and now we know more of what we're doing, we're still pretty similar, and whenever someone new comes, we try and teach them how to do it. That way then it's not like we're just doing all the work and they're sitting there idly like, oh, what do I do? You know, we try and teach other new members how to code and how to build robots and all that stuff.
It's important, I feel like, because a lot of women are uncomfortable or don't feel like they fit in a field that is such like a male-dominated field. And so I feel like having this Girl Scout team really allows us to be comfortable with each other. Like I said, we're really close friends. We communicate much better. I don't know. It's just, I feel so much more comfortable in this girls team than I would have been if I was in a team with all other guys.
Well, the long-term impact is that it will help them further their careers and have the confidence to do whatever they would like to do in the future. The sky's the limit.
The 58th Super Bowl just happened this Sunday, and it was definitely a close match. The Kansas City Chiefs won their game against the San Francisco 49ers during overtime, giving them 3 Super Bowl wins in the last 5 years. The Chiefs scored their final touchdown with 11 seconds remaining, allowing them to surpass the 49ers with a total score of 25-22. This was one of the longest games in Super Bowl history, as well as the longest halftime show featuring Usher.
In science news, President Joe Biden recently approved of the Willow Project, which is an oil drilling project in Alaska. This oil and gas extraction project threatens to unleash 260 million metric tons of CO2 into the atmosphere over the next 30 years. Many were angered by this decision and tried to fight for this project not to be passed, but failed to do so.
Here we have a video made by Vanessa Ng explaining what this means for America and the climate.
On March 13, 2023, the Biden administration approved ConocoPhillips' Willow Project. This controversial oil drilling project allows Conoco to construct 3 drilling pads in the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. Sun Club, a student-led club at FHN that focuses on environmental issues, has taken notice of the project and made steps to minimize its negative consequences.
There's definitely 2 very strong sides to it. 3 more drilling sites in there is going to harm the Arctic and like everyone that lives there, you know, like Native Americans as well as all of the animals that live there. But I mean, I can see the other side.
You can't deny it's good for the economy. Even in Alaska, people that are working there,
and it gives jobs to a lot of people. I don't think anyone can argue that it's not harming the environment and it's not hurtful to the projection of where our government is going, because it has denied a lot of the promises that Biden gave to try to combat all the fossil fuels like digging and everything like that.
The Willow Project is going to harm like everywhere in the world. It's going to release, I don't have a specific statistic, but like millions, hundreds of greenhouse gases in the world, which are obviously bad for the environment. So I think that's going to harm Missouri, surrounding states, and everywhere in the world.
Not only are we not going towards environmental change, we're actually going backwards.
Of course, I think the biggest thing is community, and I think that's a big thing that Sun Club aims to accomplish. You know, we are a environmentally positive club, and like we strive to spread that awareness, and so I think the only thing that we can really do about it is to spread awareness to everybody.
So I think it's just another reminder that we need to focus on renewable energy sources. For anyone who's 18, just try to vote. We need to urge our government to have better authority figures.
I think the first step to anything is just awareness, you know what I mean? Like research, find out even both sides so you can develop your own opinion on like subjects like this.
We hear this all the time, we only have one world, we can't go back.
In pop culture news, Taylor Swift just announced her 11th studio album, The Tortured Poets Department, which is being released on April 19th. She announced this album at last week's Grammy performance, where she won Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album. This brought her up to 14 Grammys that she's won over her whole career.
Thanks, Laney. Now we have a Humans of FHN on Miss Finegan, our school's newest math teacher.
That was too good.
So I graduated high school 5 years ago, and it is so different than from when I was in high school. I feel like you guys have a lot more opportunities, lots of different classes to take. Just like curriculum-wise, it's so different. In college, we're required to do student teaching, and so I did that back in Columbia because I went to Mizzou. And I loved it. I loved the school district I was at. I would have loved to work there if I wanted to stay in Columbia, but there's nothing to do there, so I wanted to come back home. But I loved the experience. It was great working with kids before actually jumping into teaching and having no idea what I'm doing. So I wanted to be around students that are capable of making their own decisions, and I don't have to handhold and like take you to the bathroom and do all that stuff. I just think it's so much harder to teach the alphabet or how to teach fractions or what's 1 + 1. Those basic skills are so hard to teach. Trying to find a job and then just entering the workforce is totally different than being a student. I'm used to the one sitting in the table taking the notes and studying all night, and now I get to be in charge of all of you guys. I definitely think there's things I can improve on, which I'll learn the more I teach. But as a first semester, I think it went pretty well. I had great kids. I like the curriculum that I teach, the 2 classes, Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, it's my jam. Definitely having 3 other new teachers in the department is really nice. So other 2 teachers are also first year, and Miss Stutzer, who's been teaching for 16 or 17 years, has been a super helpful mentor as a first year teacher.
Lastly, we have Madelyn Clark and Vanessa Ng speaking on the issue of women's health care. Let's go take a look.
Once a month for 2 to 7 days, women get their period. But how do they deal with it? Some people choose to use birth control, and some people choose to use feminine hygiene products. But birth control comes with serious health consequences, and the price of feminine hygiene products is rising every single day. According to U.S. News Money, 20% of women couldn't afford feminine hygiene products every month, and 50% had to choose between period products or food. A woman spends around $9,000 in feminine hygiene products over a lifetime.
I haven't gone to get anything for myself in a while. I'll just make my mom do it, but last I checked, it's been way too expensive for everything, especially because it's like a need. It's not your choice whether you use them or not, and for quality products, because not all products are made the same, they tend to get more expensive, and not everyone has access to those funds or money, and they still deserve to be able to use the products that are right for them.
There are a couple of grants that are available to secondary schools from the state of Missouri that actually pay for period products. The district does not provide them, so that's a huge jab to our budget. So we are lucky enough to have the grant that provided some, and then we also have an outreach program reach St. Charles that provides period products. And so they supply all the secondary schools in St. Charles County.
A period is when a woman sheds the lining of her uterus during menstruation and when the eggs in their ovary aren't fertilized. One way to deal with this is birth control.
Well, I asked my mom to schedule me an interview with a gynecologist, and it took a couple months because they're always really full and you have to book your appointments way in advance. But I had been having the problems for long enough that I needed to do something about it. And then I went and met with the doctor and talked to her about different types of birth control, what I wanted, what I didn't want, and I ended up picking a type of birth control that I thought would be good for me. When you start the pill, you get like this giant packet, and it has lists of like symptoms and possible diseases you can get, like different types of cancer, like uterine cancer, and some people have been proven to grow like brain tumors, liver and heart failure. Those are all risks that I decided to take. And there's also risks of, you know, the usual symptoms like the weight gain and the headaches and the like nausea, vomiting.
Many women struggle with period pain and other related issues. Over 50% of people who menstruate experience some kind of period pain, which is one of the most common problems with menstruation according to Health Partner. The nurses at FHN see students coming in with period pain every day.
We see that regularly, I would say maybe upwards of 10 times a day. Typically we treat with ibuprofen or Tylenol, and then if they have time to rest with a heating pad, they do that as well.
Even though periods have become a lot more normalized, there's still a huge stigma around them.
Even sitting here doing this interview, I'm a little bit uncomfortable because it's always been considered like a dirty thing or like that's women's business. Like if I were to talk about staying home because of my cramps to my dad, I wouldn't say I'm bleeding, I would say I'm sick. You know, like it just is considered something to be like shameful and private. And I don't think that should be the case at all.
Thanks, guys. That's all the time we have for you this week, FHN.
Make sure to go follow us on all of our socials at FHNtoday and at FHN Game Day.
Once again, I'm Max.
And I'm Laney.
Signing off.